Okay, on to our training topic for today. I gave you 2 at the beginning. Which one are we covering today?
Open houses.
Open houses. Okay, so give me the premise. Explain to me how open houses have been conducted in the past. How were you trained? What was it like? What were the standard practices?
So I was trained that the open house is trying to lure a buyer. That's what it's for. So you show up, you get your little cookies, you get your little water bottle, and you sit there and you
get
wait.
Your sign-in sheet.
Yep, and you wait for the buyer to show up. And you hope and pray that that buyer is unrepresented. There's not really a lot of prep that goes into it. You might post it here and there.
How do you pick an open house?
Every listing gets an open house. Every listing gets an open house unless the seller specifically tells you not to, but there's not a lot of prep that goes into it. It's just, I'm going to put it on the MLS. I'm going to put it on 2 stories, which a lot of agents still do it that way. But by and large, you are sitting there waiting for the buyer to come to you. And I think that's one of the reasons why in many cases they do not work.
Okay, so I would love to hear from you. What are some of those examples, or what are some of those things that you feel like are broken currently with how people are doing open houses? And then let's talk through some best strategies and best practices in our opinions.
So where I think it's broken is, what is the objective? Right? So is the objective to sell the house? Maybe. For me, that's a secondary objective.
Yeah. Do you think more people are doing open houses to sell the listing or to procure buyers?
To sell the listing.
Interesting. See, I would say it's the opposite.
I think it should be the opposite. I don't think it is, though.
So you think more agents are trying to sell the listing than they are trying to generate buyer leads?
Yeah, that's why all they do is just sit there. Because in my mind, if you wanted to really procure buyers or procure
you would approach it
sellers,
differently.
100% I would approach it differently. Like, that is an opportunity to say, hey, I'm listing the Thompson's house. You got to hit up the entire block and say, hey, here's an invitation to the open house. I just listed the Thompson's house. You probably know them. They're great, blah, blah, blah. It gives you an opportunity to start the process of maybe having a conversation. But if all I'm trying to do is sell the house, it's okay, agents, there's an open house, bring me people. I'm going to sit here with crumble cookies for 3 hours. And it does not go beyond that. So I think when agents understand that this event gives you an opportunity to do something in the community and get out there and shake hands, kiss babies, get to know people, that's what it's about. But the lens has to be, I'm going to use this listing to meet the entire block. And it's very often not.
And to grow the business, to find buyers, to find potential listings. Yeah, and so for me, I think best practices, if I'm an agent that says, hey, I'm going to build my business, right? Open houses are one of the 3 activity-based prospecting methods that we pitch. You need to have a paid lead source, you need to have an activity-based prospecting method, and you have to have a organic lead source in order to have a decent business, I think. In this is open houses, door knocking, and cold calling. So if you have an activity-based prospecting method and if you've elected to do open houses, here's a couple of tips that we feel like would help. Number 1, only do open houses in neighborhoods where you are wanting to transact. Going back to exactly what you were saying, I think these agents that are going and throwing a $3 million house in Park City up as an open house, and then a $500,000 townhome in Lehigh, and then a $250,000 condo in Salem, I think you're missing the mark. Yeah. To me, if you're an agent that's wanting to build it up, you should not be trying to attract buyers that do not fit the demographic that you are trying to hit. So if your target demographic is first-time home buyers, $400,000 to $500,000 in this geographical location, there is no reason to throw an open house other than it looks better on social media.
For sure.
And so I think that's step number 1. Step number 2, talk to me about the sign-in sheet. The sign-in sheet to me is like the CMAs to a listing appointment. Yeah. So I think this is the dumbest, most outdated BS topic or idea that exists right now with open houses.
Yes, it is an outdated idea because often nothing is done with it. Right? You just have a sign-in sheet in the car and you just like end up throwing it away. The only application where I think it might make sense is from a reporting aspect to the seller. If you have a seller, we should all have accountability to our sellers. So the only scenario where it makes sense is I'm going to use this data to then have accountability with the seller and say that these are the 14 people that showed up. Now, you could do that just with a name. You don't need phone number, email address, blood type, shoe size. So, but from an accountability perspective, I do see some utility there. It might not be in its current form, but most agents, they're never going to do anything with that list. So if you're not going to do anything with the list and you don't have accountability set up with the seller, then just don't do it.
I do think they're doing something with that list. I do think that most agents are doing something with that list, and it's not contacting people on that list. It's hiding behind the sign-in sheet. Rather than getting up and out from behind your computer or from behind your iPad or off of your phone, these agents are using the sign-in sheet to say, go ahead and sign in. So that way I have your buyer, or I have your name, I have your email, and I have your phone number, and I'm going to spam the hell out of you going forward.
And I don't have to talk to you.
I can get the information. Here's your MLS printout sheet. Here's my open house flyer. Here's my business card. Please sign in so I can call you later and not have to have a conversation with you. So my advice to you as an agent, if you're trying to sit open houses, would be no sign-in sheet. I would say do no sign-in sheet to force you to get up, stand up, interact with people, kiss babies, and shake hands, just like you were saying earlier. Stop hiding behind your damn open house sign-in sheet because it's easier to collect information that way. I think open houses are brilliant because it is right now one of the best ways that you can get in front of unrepresented buyers. But if you are relying on your sign-in sheet to get in front of them, you're entirely missing the mark. Yeah. So that's one of the tips. Number 2, if I am you, I am trying to figure out a way to make sure that buyers have to walk past me twice when they're going into the home and when they're leaving the house. Going and posting up in the family room that's in the back left corner of the house where people can just sneak out the front door, you're missing out. Figure out a way to make it so that they have to walk past you at least twice. My next tip would be you want to have a deal that is similar. This is where I think I disagree with you because I think in your opinion they're doing open houses for the seller. I think most agents are doing open houses to find buyers. If that's the case, I would have an additional deal that people cannot miss. If they're coming into a $500,000 something, this, that, whatever that house looks like, have a deal that is as good or better that you can also throw out to people to make yourself look like the industry expert.
How many agents do you think do that?
None.
Why?
Because it's easier just to show up, put some signs up, put your cookies out, put your water out.
Because they're not thinking about getting buyers, bro.
I see, and I think that, and I'm like, if you look at the amount of agents that are throwing open houses on their own listings on our team, it's very few.
They're thinking about getting buyers for that house. Otherwise, that would make sense. I agree with you 100%. Like, I think that is a brilliant strategy. Now, the flip side to that coin is, okay, is the seller going to feel some type of way when people come through the house and then you said, hey, that house is actually better. Do you want to see that one?
Do I think they'll feel a certain kind of way? If I sell their house, will they feel that way still?
No.
And so if that house doesn't work for them, they might realize that, you know what, that first house that I walked through was even better. To me, they're going to go and see it anyway. Yeah. They're going to be seeing, like, agents are not finding buyers their homes.
So how would you communicate that to the seller?
My goal is to generate as many buyer leads as possible. I only need to find one for your house. I'm going to try to keep the others as buyer clients. I hope that you're okay with that.
How many agents have that conversation?
Zero. They're terrified of sellers. They're terrified. They're doing everything they can. That's why they're hiding behind their CMA and listing appointments too.
Which in that case, I love that because I love the point of just don't have anything in front of you that you can then rely on. Now, talk to me, walk me through the process, how you would handle the tour. If somebody comes in, are you touring them? Are you letting them walk through the house? If you have multiple groups at once, if you have a really busy open house, how would Boom Maddox handle that? Yeah,
so this is something that I would say I am more experienced than agents because I sat model homes for the better part of 3 years. I was highly effective in model homes. I sold 58 sitting in model homes. I sold 60 homes in a year. I sold 75 homes in a year, all from sitting model homes.
That's why I want this context.
And I did it literally daily. And so my advice to you is be really, really good at seeing who is legit and who is just touring. At the beginning, you're probably going to be wrong, but start to really hone that skill in. And then I always try to tour people. I always try to give them something to pay attention to. Hey, you're going to want to notice that the primary bathroom on this one is incredible. The way that it lays out like this with the shower, and then I'm trying to meet them up there at some point. If there's multiple groups going through, I am trying to get as much contact information as I can. I go the opposite way. My printer in my model home is the craziest thing. Was broken every single day. Hey, can you print me a price sheet?
Dang it.
Shoot. Yeah. Printer's not working. I can text it to you though. Hey, can you give me a site plan? You see the way that my printer works, it doesn't. I would have very little information as well about the home, but have everything readily available to be able to send to people. That way, if you are having to pick between these three groups that are in, trying to identify who's legit and who's not, having something of value that you can send them when they're not in the home with you anymore is a great way to follow up, rather than just they're on my sign-in sheet, I'll hit them up later.
Do you ask buyers if they have an agent?
I would absolutely. And then if they say yes, I would be taking that information and passing it back to their buyer's agent as a way to build relationships with agents. Hey, I don't know if you know or not, but your buyers just walked through. Sounds like you guys already have an agreement in place. I wouldn't be asking if they have an agent. I would be asking, do you have an agreement signed with an agent that's representing you on the buy of your home?
And does the answer to that question change the way you approach the tour?
Completely.
So if they do have an agreement, how are you are you taking it?
So if they have an agreement in place, I honestly, those are the times where I use to sharpen my skills more than anything. So I never had to deal with people having an agreement when I was sitting in model home, but oftentimes they would already have an agent with the builder that they're already working for, and they wanted to come and see our location or see the other floor plan or see something within the neighborhood I was sitting. I looked at those as free opportunities. I looked at those as free at-bats. Yep. And so I was doing my damnedest to sell the heck out of people in those instances. So if they already have an agent in place, I would be trying to sell at that point, then that's when I'm trying to sell the house. I would be trying to hard close them. Hey, is this a home you guys would want to submit an offer on? I'm just asking for the seller.
I see.
I would be practicing some of these sales tactics that I think you should be using when people that say, I don't have an agent come through. I think you should be using those free at-bats.
So if they have an agreement, you're selling the house. If they don't have an agreement, you're selling yourself.
I'm selling myself.
100%.
Yeah, and this is why you need to be working with me. If no one's I would be trying to do, my follow-up would not be, I think most agents try to put people into a drip campaign if they come in without an agent.
Oh, for sure.
They're trying to put them on a drip campaign. They might try to text them a couple of times. They're going to be sending them properties. We've already established a long time ago, though, that's not your value. Those agents have already, those buyers have already seen every home. If they're actively buying, they have already seen every home that you can possibly send to them. That's my working theory. So what I would be doing is you can make some assumptions. If somebody walks into a open house without an agent, you can make some assumptions that they don't understand the buying process. My follow-up would not be, let me send you a couple of other properties. My follow-up would be, has anybody taken the time to walk you through the buyer process step by step, and trying to set up a buyer consultation with them rather than in perpetuity, let me just put you on property alerts.
For sure. And the last thing I'll say is do the prep. And I'm always going to refer back to, every time I train open houses, I train your example when you went live and you were inviting people out to the open house in Vineyard, that the house was already under contract. Even then, the quality of conversations that you had over 30 minutes?
Yeah, about an hour. Yeah, 45 minutes.
30, 45 minutes just hitting the houses around. Seeing that in real time was so refreshing, because it's like, all you were doing was just inviting folks.
That's it.
And we got to hear the conversations. Like, you're literally at the door, you had your phone.
I went live. I had it on my clipboard. That piece of content popped. That was so good. It was
massive. So it was like, okay, it's not a hard sale. Nobody was a jerk to you.
No, everyone was cool.
People engaged with you. You asked them some questions. Hey, how long? Like, that example was brilliant. So agents, take the time to actually do that. Don't just put it on the MLS, buy some cookies, and sit there. An open house should be a 4 or 5 day process if you're going to do it
That's
properly.
what I was going to say. Walk everybody through really quick. We got just a couple of minutes left. Walk everybody through exactly what our open house strategy prep looks like in an ideal world.
Yep. So as soon as you identify, as soon as you post it, you want to get your farming, door knocking schedule done. That's probably going to be done 4 or 5 days in advance. 3 days in advance, you're going to go out there, you're going to make some content. You're not going to wait until the last day.
Not the morning of.
Not the morning of. So 2 to 3 days out, you might make a couple of phone calls around the area, and then you prep the day of. Now, signs. How many signs, Boo? Do you do 3 signs?
If you're talking to Jack Perry, he says 40. 40 feels a little bit aggressive to me, but that's one of those things I'd be mapping out. I'd be going to Google Maps, putting my pin in, and going and finding the 4 biggest corners and just start trying to funnel traffic through, like 3 to 4 blocks out.
Yep. So 4 days out, you're door knocking. 3 days out, you're making content. A couple days out, you're probably going to make some phone calls, and then you prep the day of with a bunch of signs. Are you a fan of balloons? Are you a balloon guy?
You know what?
Are you a food truck guy?
At the model home, I was always a big fan of balloons. I think balloons are not something that you can put out 3 days in advance, so it shows that you were there. Your prep needs to start an hour, to me. It needs to start an hour prior to your open house going live. And you need to be having signs up. You need to have balloons up. You need to have your whatever you're doing already established 20 minutes before. I sold more houses sitting model homes in the 30 minutes before it opened up and the 30 minutes after we closed than I ever did during the prime hours of the day. And so get there early, establish that you're there, have a way to go start knocking doors again that Saturday morning. Hey, wanted to invite you over. Make sure that you could come help pick your neighbors if you know of anybody. Absolutely should be done ahead of time. And I do not think that open houses are just for Saturday. Some of my best success sitting model homes was on holidays like Memorial Day, Labor Day, Indigenous People Day, whatever these, I don't even have a real term for them. bank holidays,
just like B-list holidays.
B-list holidays is a perfect way to put it. Don't throw an open house on Christmas. Don't throw one on Christmas Eve. But the day before Christmas Eve, when everybody's off work early that day, they're trying to go and kill some time. That's probably not a good one either. But like a Memorial Day, a Labor Day, a Columbus Day, a random Wednesday where people don't have work and they have nothing to do. Yep. Pristine. Do
they have to be 4 hours long?
No, I think you're better to throw a properly prepped 2-hour open house than you are to throw a haphazardly put together 4-hour open house.
Fair. There you go.
So it depends on your prep work.
Open House 101.
There we go. That's it. We'll see y'all next week on the Future Agent Podcast.